welcome to the Dragon's Tome. My name's Rob, and up there is Jack and Pat. We're here to talk about Dragon Magazine chronologically from issue number 1 to number 151. We're in November 1989. Good times, good times. We have on the cover Jim Holloway. He's called Sushi from Hell. It's a Kappa about to attack some ninja. And yeah, what do you think about a Kappa?
Did it say ninja?
She could be a ninja. I don't know. She got a throwing star.
She's also wearing shorts.
Ninjas didn't all wear black like you think in the movies. They're not all American ninjas.
What?
Yeah, it's cool.
I like it. It's a good picture.
We got
the Kappa looks really good.
With a little water in his head. That's always.
Well, the Kappa's a weird creature, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Spoilers.
But
he's a slippery little boy with water for brains.
Now the question is,
yes.
Knowing what I know, who is she attacking?
She is looking in the foreground.
Maybe it's another Kappa in front of her, and she doesn't understand there's one sneaking up behind her.
Well, that's not how they work. So
maybe it's a koi fish. She wants some koi.
Well, I don't know if she's throwing it into the water.
She's looking down.
Stars?
She's looking down towards the water.
I mean, I don't know how she's killing anything with those.
She doesn't understand physics. That when the moment
you
you hit the water, it'll just stop.
But all in all, still a good looking picture.
Well, she's gonna be dead soon, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Whatever it was making a splash. So something was there. Now, is that Kappa a trickster? And was there?
Oh yeah, there's a splash.
Did he throw something there? And she turned and was like, "Hey, what's going on?" We don't know.
We don't know.
We can imagine. Jim Holloway, if you're listening, please tell us. I wonder if he's alive.
Please, his name's James.
Not according to the credits.
Yeah. Long time listener, long time friend, Jim. Give us a call. Let us know what's going on with this picture.
Enough of your prattling. Let's go to page 7. It's the editor. Once again, Roger Moore. Yes, it's very purple. Yeah, it's very purple, very bright. Roger E. Moore gets a burr in his butt about I don't know if there's a resurgence of the satanic panic and people blaming things on role-playing games, but he definitely gets something up his butt because he talks about how new kid delinquency blamed on literature. This time it's Stephen King who's getting the blame. But he takes a firm stance that media can't be held accountable for criminal actions. Obviously applies to RPGs also. He addresses book banning, which is still an issue today, sadly. And says the media isn't an issue, but identified trouble people should be, which is also true today. That's never happens. And seems like schools are banning RPGs, which brought this on, and that's why Roger E. Moore is freaking out a bit. Luckily, my school didn't ban RPGs, otherwise I would never know Jack. Well, luckily or unluckily.
I was in high school already, so I don't know if high schools are banning it or not.
Yeah, I would assume it's grade schools. I think that would make more sense. But it's the States. It's probably colleges, too, for all we know.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things going on in colleges at that point than D&D games, that's for sure.
Our first conventions we ever went to were at University of Buffalo, so which is coming up. I'm sure we'll see that sometime in this magazine too.
Fortunately, video games and music
took
control.
Take
the heat from role-playing games, and after that it was
Gore, 89. It's around this time when Tipper Gore and
the PMRC,
the PMRC is going wild around this time. So.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I brought it up. It's
this is the last gasp of RPGs being blamed for things.
Yeah, they slide back into
now it's
slide back into nerddom.
Yeah, like it's always blamed for, like he says, it's blamed for suicides, which it's proven to be the opposite effect on troubled teens and things like that. So, anyways, it's the I don't know, every yearly update of the state of the terrible world that they lived in back then that we still live in today. So.
Yeah. There's plenty of things in this that he brings up real life, and it's like, well, at any given time, that could be the news today in the U.S. of A. So like, you can't even make fun of it. Like I would feel bad.
It's more depressing.
Yeah, even if you're listening to this, no matter when you're listening to this or watching this,
Wow.
there could be an event that happened the night before or that week, so it's not even funny to, hey, yeah.
Well, the only difference is that this 17-year-old held all 11 high school classmates hostage, and there was no injuries. That never happens anymore, sadly.
Yeah, just recently, no less.
Yep. Anyways, let's start on a downer. So let's move on to Patrick. What's your first article?
All right, let's go to page 17.
17. Hey, speak of the literal devil.
That's right, the Ecology of the Kappa. So the Kappa, crazy little amphibious creature out of character.
Crazy little guy.
Which is the Oriental, Asian, Western,
Eastern.
Yeah.
It's really west if you keep going west.
Yeah.
It's a west, it's east.
Depends on which city you leave from.
Unless you're a flat earther, then it's definitely eastern.
Yeah. If you're leaving from California, definitely
it's
western.
west, yeah.
Character, again, Forgotten Realm setting. So these guys look like we saw in the picture. They're super strong, but they have the thing that really I don't understand about this creature is that saucer on their head, which contains water from their home area, which is what gives them their power.
Yep.
So should the water disappear, they could actually kill them.
Don't question
this. I just don't understand how the water doesn't fall out.
They got really good balance.
So
they're like those like runway models who have to bounce books on their heads and walk.
Yeah, but still, water is its own thing.
Yeah, this is actually a real creature from Asian mythology. That's why it's so crazy.
Yeah. There are two types of kappas. There's the normals, which like we probably see on the cover. And then there's the vampiric one that sucks vitality from its victims as well as eat them. These are freshwater only creatures, so you don't see them in saltwater. And as a matter of fact, continued exposure to saltwater kills them. They are omnivores because they do like their fruits and vegetables.
Well, you gotta mix something in that stew.
Yeah, but they also like their meats, so they're true omnivores. But their favorite way of eating their victims or their slain victims is to suck the entrails out, like an
oyster. Oh, I was thinking more like a noodle.
Like an oyster.
Oh, like two kappas in love behind a restaurant, and the chef with the comical hat and the
it's his entrails.
Italian accent comes out,
and it's his entrails,
yep.
and
they. Well, who am I sitting beside?
It's Pat. You're pointing at Pat currently.
Yeah.
If I point this way,
and if Pat looks the other way, look to your. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I can superimpose an entrails between you.
They mostly live in rivers. One cool, weird thing about them is that they consider themselves to be gourmet cooks. Like how they make their meals.
They got some good stews.
It's just weird that was put in there. Like
Kappa stew is world famous. That's why.
They are also very cruel creatures. Which is why when who the ninja girl was attacking, because they're very cruel and like to enjoy other people's pain. So they like to be friendly before attacking. They're actually extremely polite and very forthcoming of what's going to happen.
Because that causes more
extremely
fear.
Polite, forthcoming, but extremely cruel.
Yeah, because they're going to tell you what's going to happen, but then they're going to.
Let's see the top of your head. Let me just make sure there's no bowl of water up there.
Don't look at my water bowl.
Okay.
So and then villagers,
I got good balance.
They attempt to, because they live in rivers. Villagers around the areas attempt to appease them by throwing food in the water and things like that. So this is a very strange creature. But all in all, it's
that's how you know it's a real creature from mythology, because it is so strange. Nobody could have made this up. This is from generations of people telling a story that just kept changing and just adding little weird things, and then eventually it's like, oh yeah, they got a bowl of water in their head.
Like you're walking along and this guy pops out of the water. Hey, I like you, and I'm going to show you the way out. But by the time you get to the end, I'm going to kill you. Just so you know, I don't want any
Asian monsters are always crazy. Like the vampires are just heads with entrails and.
Yeah,
it's crazy stuff. Like there's nothing normal over there, okay?
Because it is the cloning of a clone version of oral history. So you're right. Every time someone's telling the story and they're seeing the audience they embellish just a little bit more, and the final product is something you go, what the.
I guess so.
Can't you worship turtles or something? Like,
I did forget to say that they do have
it started out as a snapping turtle. That's what a Kappa started out as. And then he had the bowl of water. Originally, he was just balancing a bowl in his head. Then it became part of his head, and then it's crazy, but it's true.
But the funny thing is, it's the water is what gives them their power. So as they lose more water, they become less powerful.
That's why you got to scoop out the water as fast as you can.
That's why a good strong fan will win you the day.
Or like some kind of telekinesis. Just suck the water right out.
A bamboo straw.
Yeah, what happens if you drink Kappa water? Do you become a Kappa?
I don't know. It's very tangy at best.
You're just a Delta?
Yeah.
Okay, Jack. What is your first article, Jack?
Me. If we could go to page 21.
21? Soldiers of Law. Hey, this sounds
Soldiers
familiar.
Of Law. So basically, in this, in the Oriental Adventures, like mythical amalgamation of Asian cultures setting, it's different than, say, what people would be accustomed to in, say, a feudal medieval Europe. And so there's certain things that would be different, including how things are policed. So basically, the Cole's notes is that there's basically the lawmen in general, the masses, they're just spear wielding, no armor types. Usually each city would have their own, and they were the leader of the city or the city state, depending, would have was kind of in control of them. And then there would be officers that were like sprinkled in amongst them, and they would have different weapons. And it does bring up certain things they would have, prestige weapons, or things that would just a little bit of the extra things that someone who's in a middle management position would have. Then it goes on to say what their duties would be, how they would handle it traditionally, as opposed to the way it would work in a D&D setting. And finally, the article comes up with, which I think is always a good idea, is like plot hooks or twists involving what would happen if the law people were there and the characters were there. What would happen? Little seeds, little sprinkling in of helpful hints.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice little short article, but gives you lots of information. The way we like it.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
the funny thing about Oriental Adventures, it's very Japanese, but then they always sprinkle in a bit of Chinese, a bit of other things, but it's mostly Japanese. That's what I find. But in this case, it seems more Japanese than anything. These lawmen. But yeah, fun times. Back to me, I guess. We're going to go to let's go to 54. This is some history stuff right here. Roll of computers. We at the very beginning they do talk about a new products from a certain Nintendo Entertainment System that's come out.
What?
So the Nintendo has obviously been out for a while now at this point, but there are rumors of games being able to be sent to Nintendo units via the telephone. What? The deuce, you say? And I'm sure in Japan they get this. I don't think we ever get it in the States or in North America. That later ones had modems. I don't think Nintendo, like the original Nintendo, even Super Nintendo, I don't think had a modem. But yeah. And then on page 57, in the news and rumors, we get the idea, I think it's on actually page 56, that something called the Sega Genesis is coming out. And it's going to be very upgraded from the old things. So look forward to the Sega Genesis coming out, guys.
We have one.
I had one. I had a Sega Master
We have
System
one,
and a Sega Genesis.
we have one that works that Sarah plays Sonic on all the time.
That's right. The Genesis was a big upgrade to the things at the time because it was not 8-bit, it was 16-bit. Fancy.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and find me a Mortal Kombat for it.
Mortal Kombat. I'm sure that's probably one of the most common games, so I bet you can find it. But yeah. I just like the idea of just, it's just funny hearing about all these systems coming out and, ooh, how special they're going to be. And the idea of modems in entertainment system, which we just take for granted now. It's just, on my old PS4, like every single game I had on there was downloaded from the internet, so.
I do like the fact in this article that they put the Clue Corner in, which is new, and BattleTech is on there.
Oh yeah, BattleTech, the original BattleTech game, which was very different. Not like the MechWarrior games. BattleTech was, I think, top down
and Curse of the Ezra Bonds, where we talked with old Clyde about the different covers.
Yeah. But yeah, yes, 16-bit technology, Sega Genesis. It's fun times. They're going to have lots of games. Space Harrier. Remember Space Harrier? That was a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
Altered Beast, which I like to call Altered Beef.
I remember getting that game Coin Up.
Oh, yeah. I played that in the arcade all the time. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, who's Pat? What's your next article?
Page 30.
30. Hey, look at that guy.
Just the Dragon's Bestiary.
He looks like an Oni. He's a
It's the Wang-liang.
He's a Wang-liang.
Wang-liang, which are closely related to the Ogre Magi. Basically, the Asian version of the Ogre Magi. Things that stand out with this, the Wang-liang, they have a super intense hatred towards humans and only humans. It's mainly because they view themselves as the people who can see a group that are multiplying rapidly and have a disregard for long-term consequences. Easy to kill, but their numbers never dwindle. So they can see that their own demise is on the future because, like cockroaches, you just can't get rid of them.
I agree with the Wang-tang.
Yeah, Wang-tang. They also find greed very repulsive, which is why they hate humans a lot. They have all special defenses. They can regenerate, not as well as Ogre Magi apparently, but like Ogre Magi, they can detect invisibility. They have their own form of invisibility, which they use when they are raising their child. And females can only birth one child per lifetime, which is why they don't.
That's bad.
Yeah, which is why they don't.
That's not good for growth.
Much achievements. Yeah. So, but when they're raising their children, one child.
How do they survive this long if they can only have one child, or is that a new development?
Well, I think what they have is they birth one time, I should say. Because I think they have a boy and a girl when they're not twins, but they just have a boy and a girl at the same time.
So you keep the same number, so you can never dwindle.
Yeah. But when they're raising the kids, they go off into the wild and they stay invisible until the kids are like 40 is the mature rate. When they go off on their own, then they can go back. They have spell immunity, just like everything else. They can change their. One thing I thought was very funny is because they know humans are very greedy, and they like to trick them. They carry around two weapons: one for their own use, magic weapons, and one weapon which is cursed, which is what they use as trade to humans.
That's funny.
So
never trade a Wang-tang.
A Wang-tang with Wang-liang.
He'll give you a good old cursed item.
Yeah, just be careful because also Wang-liangs will also use an evil human for their purpose to destroy humanity. So if they ever encounter, say, like an anti-paladin or something like that, or an evil sorcerer, they'll trick them into using them to further their own demise of humans. So, I mean, it's really just these guys hate humans in general.
Well,
like other races, if they're by themselves, they're fine. They just
all I can say is game recognizes game.
Yeah. But then if you have a mixed party of humans and other races, they will attack the other races just because they're with humans.
Because they're traitors.
Yeah.
Well,
but all in all, it's just an angry ogre magi that just hates humans. I mean,
Angry ogre magi.
I can relate with hating people, but
and the ogre magi.
Yeah.
Jock, what is your next article?
Page 25, please.
Earn those heirlooms.
We're going to go take a look at some heirlooms. Now, I didn't know this because I haven't cracked my Oriental Adventures book in, I don't know, a couple decades. But apparently on page 40, I think it was, where was it? It's somewhere at
table 40.
Table 40, page 34.
Yeah.
That it says your character can start with some lucky dice rolls, can start with some extra armor, some extra weapons. And the problem the author says is that this can start a with some extremely lucky, but with some dice rolls, you could dominate the rest of the party with your additional money or additional armor that comes from in-game that you've
just pure
gotten
luck
through your but also in the story wise through your family, their family heirlooms that are being passed down. So what they have said is that it should be something that is a system where as you start off like everyone else as your first level party would be, so there's no, and the onus is on you to earn points by doing honorable things and stuff, and your family recognizes that, and at certain points will then start bestowing you.
Well, it makes sense though, right?
Which as a game mechanic is, you spend so many of these points to buy certain things that you would have gotten early on, and it adds a level of complexity, but it stops someone from being a super character off the top of the game, and also gives story beats where you could work on things and kind of very interesting problem solving.
You're proving to your father that you are worthy of his sword.
Right, and so it's not a problem I knew existed, but this sounds like a very interesting, both mechanically and story-wise, solution that would solve that problem.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a real problem or one of those like let's make a problem so we can have an article about it, but
I would wager to guess that it's the rules that created the problem, because I don't know very many people that hand off heirlooms just to anyone unless
but it's not real heirlooms. It's like bags of money, and it's not like a plus sword.
Or they're talking about family heirloom. You got to think Asian.
No, but it has a list down here which you can get.
Could be a magical weapon, like that's.
Yeah. I don't see it. Oh yeah, way down the bottom. You have to roll 99 to get a magical weapon, but all the rest are just weapon, just other things. So.
We play Call of Cthulhu. We know all you have to do is get under an 86 on psychology, and you can go 16 turns of trying and not get under 86.
That's my point.
It can happen. It can happen.
Jack's been scarred by his roles in Call of Cthulhu.
Tests.
That is, everybody else passed the test, even though he's an expert at it. But
and then the international spy goes, "Let me try that. I think I
got 5%.
I got 5%. Yeah.
I read something about Freud. Let me try
Freud. So a nice little article that may or may not be useful. Well, it's useful. May or may not be necessary. It's back to me. Is that the way this works? Yes. We're going to go to page 87. And it's we went through the Origins Awards last time. These are the 1989 Gamers' Choice Awards from the Gen Con. GURPS does well again. GURPS is the hotness this year. And Cyberpunk won Best Sci-Fi RPG. But,
as well as Bowling and Rock League, no less.
Well, and Hunt for October won Best Historical Strategy Game. How many historical strategy games are in the running? That's all I'm wondering. Buck Rogers won Best Science Fiction Strategy Game. Come on. It's rigged. Gen Con's run by TSR, and all of a sudden all these TSR games win these ones. I don't think so. Best computer game, obviously Polar Radiance. I think that was for sure.
That was the game, yeah. There's no ifs and buts around it.
I do like that Dragon still has not won Best Professional Gaming Magazine in a while. This time I went to Polyhedron. So, but Have you ever heard of Mertwig's Maze game folio from TSR? That's best family game. Never heard of it. Oh, this Macho Women with Guns also is that Roger E. Moore mentioned this in his editorial. I've never heard of this game, but it seemed once again this was like the hotness for that year. It was like all the cool kids were buying Macho Women with Guns. So
that's funny.
It'd be interesting to see where that went and if it did.
Has anyone played Macho Women with Guns?
Yeah,
because
please
I
comment below. Yeah,
know about the game.
Yep.
It's funny that we're going through these chronologically, and we've seen, you know, the zygote that was role playing games, and now we've already reached a point where you can start doing satirical breakdowns or like a deconstruction of the thing that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It didn't take long before it's like, I'm going to make a spoof of this, and then that becomes, obviously the best that comes out is something called Macho Women with Guns.
Yeah, it's some strange stuff in there, but fun times. This is all Gamers' Choice, so it's all voted by the gamers. So obviously that's why TSR had so much showing in it. But yeah, fun stuff. I like looking to see what each year, what's the big weird thing that shows up on a list. And yes, Macho Men with Guns was this year. So
something strange role playing game, an Uber version of role playing games. I'm interested.
There you go.
I'm down.
Okay, Pat. Any more articles?
Yeah, why not? We'll do the second Ecology in this magazine. It's 35.
Is it the Yuan-ti?
Yuan-ti. It's really more just a story or the history of the Yuan-ti than anything else.
Can something be poisonous and venomous? It's weird.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
I don't remember the
think
differences
that's
anymore.
Gilding the Lily.
Yeah, so
I
guess the origin of the Yuan-ti starts with this major demon. I can't even say his name. They say his name somewhere, and I can't remember it.
Sketchteracapast?
Theraquast, something like that. His goal was to gain more power, and what he ultimately wanted to do was merge with the plane that he ruled to become an all-encompassing entity. In his thirst for power, he gathered some followers and learned to make the black broth, which was the venom of an Ophidian, which was, I don't know what the Ophidians were. And they just had venom. And they make this broth, and whoever drank it became these Hitachi. I want to say pistachio, but Hitachi. And those were the progenitors of the Yuan-ti. Because this is where it gets crazy now. So in order for a Yuan-ti to be born...
Now it's going to start getting crazy. Before, you were on board. We were all on board.
It was all the demons ployed to...
Ophidian. Isn't Ophidian a snake? I think Ophidian's a snake.
I think so, yeah. So the Histachis, when they mate, two Histachis will make a Yuan-ti. A Yuan-ti and Histachi will make a half-breed. And then... this is why I gotta get confused. So two, and then so Hisashi make a half breed, and then half breeds. Oh, and then the half breeds make something else, some crazy abomination that they try to kill. So there's a lot of weird genetic things going on with these things. So Yuan-tis don't make themselves. Which is the funny part. You have to use these guys that imbibe the black broth.
Yeah, I like how it has
tells you how to make it.
Yeah, it has a recipe for the black broth. If you ever want to make it at home.
But then, so he makes these things, and then with the help of the Yuan-ti, he's able to do what he gets to do. But then he just gets enveloped by the thing, and he loses power. His life essence dissipates into the thing, and he doesn't become as powerful as he is. So now he's just this shadow of himself that pops up every once in a while, a shadow ghost. But it's the Yuan-ti themselves I like, but the whole backstory that they got going on is so weird, and I don't even know what to make of it, honestly.
And when the Monster Manual version comes out in the compendium, they have stats for all of the different versions. It gets a little more convoluted. I remember going, this is unnecessary.
Yeah.
Once again, I think Yuan-ti are actual historical things, so that's probably why it's so crazy.
Yeah, I think they are historical things because they, like people would attack them because they will steal the samurai swords and wear them, and then samurais would go crazy.
Well, they're snake men.
I had a module, and I think it might have been called "Everything That Glitters Isn't Gold" or something like that. And I ran it a couple times, and these guys were in it, and I think that was what it was called. Or I had that module, and it might be another one I'm thinking of. Long and short of it is, it was so deep into that lore at times
that
when
you
you're
had to
running
understand the society of a Yuan-ti.
And it didn't matter, but it mattered. So you'd have to just keep. Let's just push on, because I think eventually this mythology doesn't. It in D&D isn't the same. I think Yuan-ti work for an aboleth, or it did in the module or something like that. So then you were like, okay, well, see, now then there's this, but then it's more like this. Yeah. So
I will say that they do need a constant supply of humans, though, because not everyone wants to imbibe the black broth, and they need the black broth to turn these humans into Histachi so they can make them to make more Yuan-ti. Because Yuan-ti on Yuan-ti just doesn't happen, apparently.
Well, you know how it is.
It's just Yuan-ti on Yuan-ti violence.
Yeah, so this is a very, very weird article. There's a bit hard to follow, especially with the mating area section.
And some of those words.
Well, there's a lot of percentage rolling when if something was going to become an abomination, as opposed to being a half-breed, as opposed to being a pure blood, and it just gets very convoluted at that. But just spend a lot of time on mating rituals, and because it's a very complicated situation for these creatures.
Poor guys. You thought you had a hard time mating. Try being a
Yuan-ti. It's all Shikthera pest. Shikthera pest. That's how you say it.
It's all his fault. Don't blame the player, blame the Shikthera pest. Jack, I assume you have no more articles.
No, sir, I'm tapped.
Do I have any more articles? I don't think so.
Well, I'm done myself.
Oh, look at that. We all done. Let's go to ads. We'll start with Jack. Jack, what's your first ad?
Speaking of Uber games that everyone should be interested in, let's go to page 106.
Okay.
I got a ton of ads here. Reichstar, oh my God.
I tried to go on 106. It didn't work. Wait a second. Let's try typing in 106. Reichstar. Yeah, this sounds... I did not see this coming.
Let's be adults here. Nazis won the war. They start progressing humanity. Now it says on here, challenge to your conscience and fight for your birthright. That seems reasonable. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's a game in which I had to do a little bit of research, because you see this poster boy for 1944 Germany with the uniform, but it's got a whole bunch of Nordic writing on there. So I looked up, and I don't do research for this podcast. I come on. So I went to some place called Noble Knight Games.
Oh.
I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it.
We've been there.
That's the joke. And then for $121, you can order the one copy they have of Reichstar. And here's the description: a science fiction RPG set in the year 2134, an alternate reality where the Axis powers won World War II. We'll see. The Italians, you never know if they're part of that or not, the way they flip-flop. The Russians, again, wherever the wind blows.
I don't think they flip-flop. They got attacked.
So neither one of them are trustworthy. So I guess they don't make the cut. And really, if you're picking teams, those guys. So both of them expand their empires over time into the star systems, and there's a Cold War between the Japanese and the German. And then it goes on to say the player characters are revolutionaries trying to overthrow the Third Reich.
Okay, that's good.
Phew, everyone,
Settle down. Settle down.
You can.
I was gonna look it up to see if this was created by some neo-Nazi group, but that's good.
I just want to know: is this a monkey, some kind of space ape?
In the black and white picture, or in the
up in the corner that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Some alien.
Looks like a baboon.
I don't know. A Martian baboon, perhaps. So, anywho, then it says this. You're going to overthrow the Third Reich, restore freedom and democracy to the colonies, and then it says this game in no way promotes racial or religious hatred, and if anything, is very anti-Nazi.
Oh, that's
is that what they put on Noble Knight?
Noble Knight. So
they probably wanted to make sure that, like, hey, look, we're not selling some freaking neo-Nazi book here.
Yeah,
right. So then we'll dip back to the ad in Dragon Magazine and go full color. It's got just enough to entice someone to play a game. The game would never be made today, even though we're now like another 30, 40 years removed from, any the incidents. It would never be made today, but that's a kind of I've never heard of it, and I don't imagine it's anyone's playing it right now in their basement. Rob's doing some research.
Yeah, I was just seeing the designer. He only designed this game. I wanted to see if he was a famous designer or something, but no.
Oh, okay.
Ken Richardson designed this game. Yeah. From Creative Encounters. Well, I'm glad to hear it's not a Nazi game because it looks very Nazi. And it's at first I didn't know it was 2134, so I was like, oh, is it like what's that TV show that was from the Philip K. Dick book? Man in the High Castle.
Yep.
I was wondering if it was like, did they make a role-playing game that they made out of that, But it sounds like it's even farther in the future than that. So.
Yeah, this would be the
extension of that.
One of the possible extensions onto that storyline. Yeah.
But it does predispose that if Nazis did win, they'd still be in power in 2134, which come on.
Well, for the ad itself, I thought it was brilliant that they took like what is clearly based on an American space with the bearing collar and like that,
and the orange. Yep.
So if you remove some of like the Iron Cross and stuff, you would look and go, oh, okay.
That's why I don't like it's 2134. It should be like 2020, or like it's too far in the future, I think.
Well, these people didn't know where we would be.
But no
one knew that.
But look, it's even a shuttle on his chest, and like it should be like near future, not far future, which they made a mistake there, I think.
I bet you if you went to the people who made this and said, you know what, there's going to be 2 astronauts that just went up in a ship that was built by an aircraft company, and they're stranded up at the International Space Station, but they're just going to, we got another billionaire, the world's richest man, just going to fire up another rocket with 2 guys on it. They're going to bring them back down. They'd be like, stop it. We're trying to do real science fiction here about the Nazis and the Japanese a millennia later. We don't need your crazy...
Yeah.
And that reference I just made,
was
if
probably
something
outdated.
terrible goes wrong in the next 2 weeks when they're supposed to be bringing them down, I apologize. As of right now, everyone's happy, healthy.
There is some space madness going on. Did you hear they were hearing a heartbeat from the other shuttle that was broken, the Boeing shuttle? They heard some.
It turns out the International Space Station's radio and the shuttle's radios were causing feedback.
No, it was. Oh. It's that's the veil out, the cover up. The truth is, something's been born up there, and it's coming.
Some sort of
back.
Star Child.
Something's been born up there.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Like the astronauts come back and their scleras are all black when the camera's looking at them, but then they, and then they go home to their families. Who there's something just not right. Exactly. What's going on here?
You see where I'm coming from.
I do. Again, if that
in the future, happen, if that does happen, I predicted it. That's all I'm doing.
A, Rob predicted it.
Rostradamus right here. Anyways, Pat, do you have an ad?
I do. Let's go to page
Leave us in
4.
suspense. Yeah, 4. Wow, it's Grenadier. It's 4 and 5.
This is a double H pad. I just put this out because
Look at
these
Tiamat.
are some great models.
That Tiamat is awesome.
And it's finally a good
model.
scan. It's got the Shadowrun boxes that I didn't know.
I had that Shadowrun box.
I didn't know Grenadier made these Shadowrun boxes.
The scale of them is so funny because you get the Shadowrun box and the miniatures were like 20 millimeter. They weren't 28. Or if they were 28, they were like true 28. So they look teeny compared to real miniatures at the time. I probably still have those miniatures somewhere. Too. I remember there's a cool troll.
Platinum Dragon.
And then, yeah, we're going to skip over the calendar, are we?
Oh, I didn't.
Those are some mighty shells.
Yes.
I would say when you're looking at like the ranges and the quality and stuff, like this is Grenadier's like gotta be their high point.
Yeah.
Like they've got DC, they've got
Shadowrun, they got all the dragons, yeah.
And then historicals, like not historicals, dwarves in a canon isn't, but you know, they've got everything you would need.
And a sexy 1990 calendar, which has nothing to do with miniatures as far as I can tell. I guess it's one of those things where like you could just, you can buy calendars and put your own stuff on them, but they're like usually like bikes or cars or hot ladies. I think that's what they did with this one. Even the title of it looks like they forgot to capitalize anything, so it's just it's like whoever typed that in was like, let's just make our own calendar. That's my guess.
It's a harmless fun. I'm sure those models were just happy to, participate. And if you bought one and had one, it's not the end of the world.
Jack or Pat, I hope you are looking up currently the price of that Shadowrun box set.
I am.
I could tell. I could see the lust in his eyes.
Oh, I gotta have that.
Oh yeah. Is it expensive?
Yes and no.
Is it between $9 and $99?
Probably more than what Jack would pay.
Well, it's more than $5. Okay.
I don't know if it's from Noble Knight Games. I've got $121. I might have to pitch in we make a joint purchase.
He's buying Reichstar anyway, so.
Oh.
Yeah, that must be pretty rare to be that expensive for that game. My ad is going to be on page 17. No, page 15. Sorry, I can't read. It's MechWarrior, the original BattleTech game that introduced me to BattleTech. This is not the top-down one like BattleTech. This is MechWarrior, which really caused a lot of issue because Activision, which eventually gets bought by Microsoft, owns the name MechWarrior, but BattleTech's owned by WizKids, and it's very confusing about who can use what words and who has rights to what. It's all because of this game. This is you're piloting the mech. It was so complicated that me and a friend one of us would drive, the other one shoot, and we take turns because one person couldn't do everything. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Of course,
me and my friends, when we played this game, one would be the pilot and the other one would work the keyboard, and we call him the weapons officer.
Yep, that's what we do. But it was great. You could do like very basic, like what do they call it? ISO graphics. But real fun. You're marching around shooting at people.
This SVGA at the time, I think.
Probably. It's first person. That's the first person cockpit view. And you can modify your mechs. Your mechs get limbs blown off and stuff. They would go red on the little board. You have to get them fixed. Fun times. I had many fun times playing this game. On I'm sure it was a 286.
I played the hell out of this game with me and my buddy, and we played it for hours. But this is the game that taught me that PC gaming is for chumps, and you got to go console because he updated his computer. We slapped in the game, and all of a sudden,
it was super fast, wasn't it?
Would go super fast.
That's right. I remember that
with the additional RAM, and it was like,
it was back before they could like figure out that games it was running like top speed, so they just made it okay, just do as fast as you can do it. But then when you got a faster computer, everything was super fast.
Everything was crazy.
It was funny,
and so we couldn't play the game anymore because what were you going to do? Have an old computer sitting around to play this one game?
That. Yep.
So
that was funny.
So yeah, that's when I said no more games on the computer.
And Jack to this day has a no games on computer laws.
It's a nightmare. Even on Steam, there's nothing works. You can't. You can't pay to play.
Else but Jack.
you can't even spend a reasonable amount every year and keep up with to play a video game. Yeah, I would play that MechWarrior game right now if I could.
Well, you can. It's called MechWarrior 5, and you can buy it right now with just better graphics.
You can actually play this game on GOG too,
and you can also play this in a browser if you really wanted to play it.
Yeah. You can run
PS4.
You can run an emulator that'll run this game.
Not on PS4, probably. I don't think it was ever. They had the Mech Commander games for the consoles. They never really had the MechWarrior games. I don't think. What about Crazy Ivan? Remember that game?
Yes, I played the hell out of that too. That
I think I borrowed it from you.
PlayStation 1. Yeah, I think so. And he would do the Crazy Ivan.
Fun stuff. Any more ads? Jack, any more ads? Pat's got tons. Pat, it's the Pat show now. Give us some more ads.
It's all me?
Yep.
All right, page 2. Web of Gold. I put this out because I've never seen this game in a store anywhere in my life.
I remember this ad though. This ad has like been it's always in every.
Remember this ad? This game, looking at the picture, this game looks like it's a Parker Brothers game.
It probably something when they bought SPI. It was probably something.
Yeah. So did anyone ever play this game? Is the question I wrote.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. The picture is so small at the bottom. It kind of looks like a hex-based game almost. Yeah. But it definitely is trying to do an Indiana Jones vibe.
Definitely just grabbing money at this point.
But Web of Gold. Yes, I remember these ads all the time. I was just like, this looks stupid.
Yeah, I think in a past episode I brought up, hey, this game I've never heard of, Web of Gold, and stuff like that. But clearly... I've never seen this ad, but clearly it must be enough that they're going to do a full page ad to try and like get it into family friendly spaces. Still doesn't ring a bell.
Definitely never. Yeah, I've never seen it, but
yeah, I've never seen it. I've never seen it at a Gen Con in any of the old dealer booths.
Now, I think this is more the kind of game that would be in a Goodwill.
But they got a young Corey Haim to do the modeling, so
it's good.
All
right. So let's go to 47 real quick.
I knew this would be yours. I remember playing this game too.
Star Trek: The Frontier. I played this game with my friends Amiga all the time, and what made me think about this game is because I remember Space Combat was all wireframe,
just like the old Star Trek game. Yeah, Star Wars game. Yeah,
and then all the actual gameplay were these little cartoon cutscenes.
Yeah, or I don't think it was even moving. I think it was just a static screen that you point and click.
Yeah,
that's right. I remember that. It was a shock to have to switch between the two, but it was fun.
Again, here we are. We're talking about computer games now are being more prevalent in this magazine.
Yeah.
And it looks like ass now. You look at it and you go, "Oh, that looks terrible."
Yeah, that wireframe.
No one's going to play that. But people played the hell out of it.
Well, the thing is, they had to have wireframe like this for the speed. That's how they made it faster. You didn't render anything, so it was just wired. So if you wanted any kind of speed in your game, it was all wireframe. Even MechWarrior was barely past wireframe. It was wireframe with like a skin on it, like a color skin.
Yeah, one color.
Yeah,
you had limited choices. Like today, as of 2024, there was a game that came out. It was like a first-person shooter thing like that. 1 week they pulled it down. I forget what the name of it was. I was seeing something about it. It came and went so fast because it was like, oh, there's already 80 of those out there. What were you thinking? $80 million to make this stupid thing that no one's going to play. You had wireframes and you liked it.
Yeah, for sure.
That was it.
Yeah.
Kids don't understand. Yeah, that's for sure.
And you were happy to have it. You would enjoy it, and you would look forward to it.
Yep. All right, so my last ad then will be page 78.
78. Yeah, Space Marine. I thought you'd pick this one.
Yeah, I picked this one mainly because we talked about Adeptus Titanicus prior to. Now, this is the foot troopers and tanks for that game, where Space Marine kind of brought itself its own set of rules that was fully compatible with Adeptus Titanicus. Adeptus
epic
Titanicus
scale,
used
right?
more used the 40k rules. So
yeah, this is all little guys, right? Little teeny.
I do love this version of this game, Space Marine, and I have a copy of it downstairs.
360 finely detailed scale miniatures.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's 320 Space Marines, 32 Rhinos, 16 Land Raiders. Wow.
Yeah, this is one of the few games from GW that I held on to.
Question is, how much is it? Does it say in this ad? It does not say. I'm
No,
curious.
I looked for it.
It's probably hundreds of dollars back then.
No, I would say it's close to 60, somewhere in the $60,
Yeah,
40,
that makes sense.
$60 range.
I think because of the scale, it's not like, you throw up those cardboard buildings. The miniatures are probably
I don't know if those are cardboard buildings. They're
cardboard. They're cardboard with plastic tops.
Oh, okay. I was going to say those tops didn't look.
Grooves, and then you put the into it.
I was going to say that didn't look, but the tops didn't look. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But if it was scaled differently, yes, that would be a small fortune. Today, that would be a mortgage payment.
Oh, well, I think even Adeptus Titanicus nowadays is $300, and that's probably less than you get in this box.
A Titan is $300 now.
Yeah. Yep, crazy stuff, but it's back in the day. Now you can play other games. Pat left.
Oh, Pat's gone.
He
was looking at his computer.
What he did is he shut down his page.
I think he did. He was like,
I'm
done looking at my thing.
Yep. I can't find those Shadowrun miniatures. I'm going to click off my tab, and now he's gone. So
here he's coming. He's coming
the
back.
fool is
There
back.
he is.
Oh, our power dimmed.
Oh, it wasn't that you were closing tabs and you closed yourself off?
No.
That's it. We're wrapping up now anyway, so we have no more ads, right?
I think the mummification had his brain, and the scarab beetles have started controlling his hands.
I could see them running behind his eyes. Anyways, that was been an episode.
Hotep is being born.
Pat Topep. 151 this was, and it was a fun time. More to talk about than I expected, but Jack's enjoying his beverage, so I will say like, share, subscribe, answer any questions we may have come up with in the comments below. And if you get this like years later and we don't respond, it's because we have no idea what you're talking about. So
yeah.
Until next week. Anything else to say, Jack?
No, I'm just letting you do your thing.
Wait a week before you can speak again. I've been Rob.
I've been Chopper.
And Jack's not allowed to talk. That's Jack. So he's pretending he's not the abuser in this relationship.
That's true.
Look at him. Look at him pretend. Look how red his face is from all that alcohol he's been drinking. He can't respond. Okay, bye-bye, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You can wave, Jack. Jack, you can. Oh, Jack's not even waving at you.